I'd like to call tonight's Parish Council meeting to order, dated September the 9th, 2020. Time is now 6:00 p.m. I'd like to remind everyone to silence their telephones, please. We'll begin with opening prayer by Scott, followed by the pledge by James. Everybody, please rise.
And the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, we thank you that you hear and answer our prayers. Hear our prayer and be in the midst of our meeting today. Dear Lord, we ask that you give us clear minds and peaceful hearts as we gather today. Help us to make wise decisions to the best of our ability. Dear Lord, thank you for watching over our very parish as Hurricane Laura passed, as we were spared the destructions of our friends to the west. Dear Lord, please deliver the housing and nourishment of our needs to the west, as they were not as lucky as we. Dear Lord, please watch over everyone, especially the electrical employees, first responders, and any citizens helping to get the power on for those people. Dear Lord, we thank all the everyday citizens that stepped up, who have sacrificed and brought the needs to the area. Please watch over them as well. We pray through Jesus Christ, our Lord.
Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, James. We'll now have a roll call. Brenda?
Tommy Pollard,
Here.
Michael Landry,
Here.
Brad Davis,
Here.
Lloyd Brown, Warren Goshsing,
Here.
Natalie Broussard, Paul Landry,
Here.
James Trahan,
Here.
Scott Rossonnet,
Here.
Eugene Olivier,
Here.
Brian Napier,
Here.
Lady Fontenette Brown,
Here.
Marty Trahan,
Here.
Chad Montreal.
Here.
We have a quorum. Natalie said she's coming, but she's going to be a little late. Before we go into
Okay.
public comment, I'd like to remind everyone there's a 3-minute limit per person in public comment. I need a motion to go into public comment. Moved by Tommy Landry, a second by Tommy Pollard, second by Michael Landry. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, so be it. We now in public comment. Public comment number 1. Comment from the general public on non-agenda items. Ms. Lori Landry to address the council to announce her candidacy for district attorney of the 16th Judicial District Court. Lori?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Thank you for yet another opportunity to come before you and the citizenry in Iberia Parish. I am Judge Lori Landry, retired and running for DA. I'm asking you once again for your support in this endeavor, not because of me, because it's best for our community. I was here in 2002. Some of the people in the room were here with me as well. Some of them have become very, very good friends as a result of embarking on the process. I was here again in 2008, and you trusted me enough and then trusted me with the decisions of this community. I was here again in 2014. Once again, this community and you as a council entrusted me with the decisions that impacted our entire community. Yes, indeedy, a certain part of the electorate elected me, but they always knew that I was going to be a judge for the entire community, and that was without question. I've heard it said, not to me personally, but I've heard it said, why are you running? My first answer was, why not? The longer answer was, because I think this community is entitled to elect their officials. For a long time, this community has been given an official in this capacity. And I decided, after God said, will you go? And I couldn't come up with the better answer to, if not you, who? And if not now, when? Just 100 years ago, women did not have the right to vote. Just 100 years ago. And 100 years ago, all women didn't get the right to vote. But women still celebrate that accomplishment. Just a few short years ago, 1993, we had no African American judges in the 16th JDC in all of Louisiana. But we've done that because somebody dared to say it's not fair. And we need diversity because our country was formed on diversity. Diversity is our strength. Diversity does not mean likeness. It does not mean sameness. You can wear blue pants and I can wear a black skirt. You could have long hair, sort of, and I could have no hair. You could have blonde hair and blue eyes, and I could have no hair and black eyes. That's just differences. Diversity is what makes us strong. Don't be afraid to take on the task of doing what we need to do. The world has changed around us. And New Iberia and St. Martinville and Franklin need to get ahead of the curve. I come to you with integrity that you've known for 18 years. Hard work on behalf of everybody. And say that we as a community want to do better. We need to do better. And we can do better. If not for us, for our little babies. We cannot leave them the same community that we found here. We have to change because growth is change. I heard somebody asked me recently, what's conservative justice? I said, I don't know. I just looked up the word conservative. And it says to hold on to something of old, particularly when it comes to politics and religion. Well, I'm here to tell you what we have in the 16th JDC, and not just here, in America, is broken because of systemic indifferences and systemic structural defects. We didn't create them, but if we continue to perpetuate them, we're just as guilty as creating them. We can change them, y'all. We can. The 16th JDC can lead, and it can lead with a woman who is courageous enough to look at what we have, keep what is good, strengthen what needs shoring up, and strong enough to say we have a problem and change that which is wrong. Together, women and men, black, white, old, and young, unity is coming together for a common goal. What's that common goal? To make our community safer. Louisiana spends, $700 million a year to incarcerate our people at a higher rate than anywhere else in the whole wide world. And we're not any safer. I have a different plan. It's not bold. It's not new. Communities all around are doing it. But it just takes the strength to say, we can do better, and we can do better. Thank you. I'm Lori Landry. I'm running for DA. Go to LoriLandry4DA.com and like us. Thank you, Mr. Olivier. I'm sorry I went close to my time.
Thank you, Lord. Now we'll have Mr. Roger Hamilton to address the council to announce his candidacy for judge of the 16th Judicial District Court, Division H. Mr. Hamilton.
Good evening. Mind if I take off my mask to speak? Hi, my name is Roger Hamilton, and I'm no stranger to Iberia Parish. I grew up here. I grew up in the community. I left the community to go to Nicholls State University, where I got my Bachelor of Arts degree in government. And then I went on to LSU and got my law degree and came back to the community back as a law clerk to Judge Paul DeMaye. And then I worked at the DA's office for 5 years as an assistant district attorney and spent the last 13 years working at the 15th Judicial District Attorney's Office. I've also, for the last 4 years, served as the city attorney here for the city of Jeanerette. Also did 18 years of practice, of civil practice. I believe I'm the candidate for Division H because I have 18 years of practice in civil and criminal. I've argued at Louisiana's Third Circuit Court of Appeal and the Louisiana Supreme Court. I grew up in this community. I have the education, I have the experience, and I have my faith that I'll be bringing to the bench. But there's 3 things that I believe I'm gonna also bring to the bench. 1 is fair and independent. 2, I'll bring accessibility. And 3, you have a judge that will listen to both sides of an argument. You'll have a judge that will listen to the argument and not make a decision before I hear the whole argument. I am here from Iberia Parish, from the community, grew up here, have volunteered in multiple roles. Currently, I'm Louisiana 4-H executive, Louisiana 4-H Foundation president, also serve as a basketball coach at Catholic High. So I'm here from the community, and I'll be for the community. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Mrs. Khadidra Rashad to address the council regarding a death and alleged suicide at the Iberia Parish Jail facility and the amount of funding taxpayers are paying for operation at said facilities. Ms. Khadidra, you here? Look like she's not here. We'll go ahead and move on. Ms. Alicia Johnson Butler to address the council to announce her candidacy for judge of the 16th Judicial District Court, Division H.
Good evening. Thank you, esteemed council, parish council, for allowing me to speak to you today. Audience, good evening. I stand before you today announcing my candidacy for District Judge Division H. I'm here because this is an application that I feel to fulfill the seat previously occupied by Judge Landry. You are the decision makers. You are the employers to evaluate the resumes of the candidates and determine who is the best person for the job. I believe that is me. I initiated my career as a lawyer under the guise of Judge Carl Williams. First and foremost, I was a federal correctional institution officer after I graduated from Grambling State University. Any Gramblingites in the house? After I did my tenure there, my husband at the time got transferred back to New Iberia, and I was employed as a special education teacher for behavior disordered children. I did that for about 3 years. When I met Judge Williams, he encouraged me to go to law school because I always had a desire to litigate as I was in speech and debate during my high school career. I went to law school, graduated, and served as a law clerk for the Honorable Carl Williams. Once I finished my clerkship with Judge Williams, I hung up my shingle, and there was born civil law practice of Alicia Johnson Butler and Associates, wherein I practiced civil and criminal law. I had represented criminal defense cases, class action suits. I had divorce custody cases, and numerous other cases. In addition to that, I served my community as a Eucharistic minister with St. Edward's Catholic Church. I was a board member for the Iberia Comprehensive Clinic, board member for the Glencoe Charter School Board, board member for PEPI organization, president of the West End Business Association, and I've also served on the West End Revitalization Project. What I bring to the bench is diversity, experience. As a district judge, you have numerous types of cases that you have to preside over. The experience that I have allows me to be able to handle those types of cases and render a fair and impartial decision based upon my life experiences. So that is what I bring to Division H. Experience, equality, impartiality, and I desire for your vote in order for me to do that. The position will not be filled unless you vote. So between October the 20th, which is early voting, and November the 3rd, which is when the voting occurs, the primary election, it is imperative that you exercise your right to vote. We implore you to do that. Without you, there could be no us. I respectfully ask for your prayers during this trying time and your vote so that I can be the next district judge of Division H. Thank you for your time.
Now we'll have Ms. Ty Porter Green to address the council to announce her candidacy for judge of the 16th Judicial District Court, Division H. Welcome.
Welcome to me, and thank you, Councilman Olivier and other esteemed council members and fellow constituents of this great parish. Now, Mr. Olivier, my colleagues didn't say this, but giving a lawyer 3 minutes to speak is pretty darn difficult. So I have, in full disclosure, taken the opportunity to prepare some remarks to keep me right in the middle of the lane.
Thank you.
So I am Tyland Porter Green, and it is my pleasure to be here with you this evening. I wish you to know about me that for more than 20 years, I have dedicated my professional career to public service of others. My calling to serve is deeply rooted in a sense of community, knowing we are at our collective best when we work together. It's time to renew and strengthen my service to the community, and that's why I'm here as the candidate for Division H. My career has been focused on serving our community passionately by ensuring the well-being of our most vulnerable. I represented in children in foster care and delinquency proceedings and adults in misdemeanor cases when I was a public defender. As an assistant DA, I led the juvenile division in St. Martin Parish, prosecuting all cases related to children. So that's from school offenses to delinquent matters, and I also prosecuted sex crimes involving juveniles as victims. For the last 4 years, I have served as an attorney consultant with the Pelican Center for Children and Families. There, I'm working with other state stakeholders on multi-system reform in child welfare, knowing that if we can get our children and our families to fare well, then our communities will thrive. I intend to bring this same passion for service to the bench, again, on behalf of the people in Division H and all of the 16th, knowing that we need fairness now more than ever. I'd be remiss if I didn't pause to take into account and to speak publicly about the fact that we are living in a time filled with chaos and uncertainty. The line between right and wrong is often blurred. The unrest that we are seeing, I believe, happens when people feel unheard, unseen, and unimportant in the systems that are sworn to serve, care for, and protect them. Now more than ever, the voters of Iberia, St. Martin, and St. Mary Parish deserve a public servant who believes in a system where everyone has access, regardless of their ability to pay. A system where our citizens feel seen and heard. This district deserves a leader who believes that the village must be a part of the solutions of the problems that plague the most vulnerable. Now I'm here asking that you entrust me to work with you to achieve these goals and to stand up for our community in the judicial system. I pledge to work tirelessly, as I have throughout my whole career, to serve the people of the 16th JDC. And I want to remove those barriers that threaten an even-handed application of the law. With your support, I know that we can work together and we will in fact strengthen our community and restore hope for our most vulnerable. Now I have shared with you, Council, my push cards, and I invite you to visit my website because 3 minutes doesn't do justice to my career here. It doesn't do justice to the service that I have been a part of for the 25 years that I've lived in Iberia Parish. I thank you for your time and for your consideration and hopefully your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Now we'll hear from Mr. Anthony Tony Salome to address the council to announce his candidacy for a judge of the 16th Judicial District Court, Division F.
Thank you, members of the Iberia Parish Council, for the opportunity to address you. My name is Anthony Salimi. I'm from Morgan City, Louisiana, and over in St. Mary Parish. I live there with my wife and 4 children, all ages, all in school right now, thank goodness, after a long summer. And I'm here asking or announcing my candidacy for the 16th Judicial District Court, Division F. When you end up in court in front of a judge, it's not something that you plan for. It's usually something that's a situation that's thrust upon you, that you're not prepared. So you want a judge that is going to be fair, a judge that's going to be honest, and a judge that's going to know what they're doing. I've been an attorney for 26 years. My last 23 years I've served as an assistant district attorney here in the 16th Judicial District. I've worked both in St. Martin Parish and in St. Mary Parish. I'm presently on leave of absence, but most recently I've been the head assistant DA in St. Mary Parish for the last 7 years. In my time with the DA's office, I've had the opportunity to try over 40 jury trials and over 200 bench trials. I believe I have the experience to be your next district court judge for Division F. Now, some people say, well, you've only been in the district attorney's office, you only know criminal law. If you have any experience in dealing with the district attorney's office, you know that a lot of the things we do are civil. For instance, we do public body representation, as Mr. Shealy's doing here today. We also handle child support collection with the district attorney's office using the same law as in civil divorce cases. We also do asset and bond forfeitures, as well as in rare instances racketeering forfeitures. So in the normal course of district attorney work, we do a lot of civil work as well. You also want your judge to be fair. A prosecutor doesn't have just one client. Your average lawyer, When he represents somebody, his duty is to that client that's paying him, or if it's been appointed in a public defender capacity, that indigent defendant. Their duties to their client. A prosecutor's duty, however, we don't represent one client. We represent the public. Every time I step into the courtroom for the last 23 years, I've represented the state of Louisiana, and in particular, the people of the 16th Judicial District. So my duty is to the general public, and my duty is not just to get a conviction. My duty is to seek justice, and that's in the American Bar Association model standard rules for prosecutors. Now, what is seeking justice? Seeking justice can be filing a criminal charge and following it all the way through to trial and sentence in some cases. But in some cases, that's not what justice is. Some cases, justice is a person, a youthful offender who made a poor judgment choice, or a person who is suffering with mental health issues, or a person who has substance abuse problems. In those cases, getting that person the help they need would be justice. And sometimes, in rare instances, the right thing to do, if the facts in the law call for it, is to do nothing, is to not file a charge. And a prosecutor does that every time they screen a case that comes before them. They make that decision. So I believe that prosecutors are uniquely qualified in that aspect insofar as seeking fairness. Finally, you want your judge to be honest. In the 26 years that I've been an attorney, I've developed a reputation for having integrity and being honest. If you ask any of the criminal defense lawyers here in Iberia Parish, and we deal with, that's where most of our criminal defense lawyers come from. If you ask any of them, they'll tell you, I'm a straight shooter. We're adversaries in the courtroom, but they know that when I tell them something, I'm telling them the truth, and I stand by what I say. I believe that the big issue in this race is experience. In the environment that we're in today, you want somebody who knows what they're doing in the courtroom. For someone who's going to have to adapt to changes, you have to know what's being done in the first place in order to make those changes. But you're going to hear talk about public service, and you're going to hear talk about the people's judge. And I believe I fit those categories as well. As I said earlier, as an attorney for the district attorney's office, every time I step in the courtroom, I represent the people of the state of Louisiana. My door is always open to law enforcement, to victims, to just your average person on the street, not just for criminal matters. I've been the attorney for the people for the last 23 years, and I'm asking for the opportunity to be the judge for the people on November 3rd. I ask for your consideration and your vote. I ask you to visit a committee to elect Anthony Salimi on Facebook and salimiforjudge.com at the website. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Tony. I apologize for mispronouncing your last name. Okay. Now we will hear from Ms. Dee Dee Johnson-Reed to address the council to announce her candidacy for the New Iberia City Council member, District 5.
I was actually going to make a joke saying I'm announcing my candidacy for judge, but I'm actually not. Good evening, council and my fellow Iberians. My name is Dee Dee Johnson-Reed, and I'd like to announce my candidacy for City Council in District 5. I am a native of New Iberia. I attended Mount Carmel, New Iberia Senior High, and University of Louisiana. However, shortly after graduating from University of Louisiana, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where I lived and worked for the next 30 years. During my time in Atlanta, I was fortunate to work for several great companies like Coca-Cola, Kilpatrick Stockton, and Chick-fil-A Corporate. While working for Chick-fil-A, I was selected out of 1,500 employee staff members to be Dan Cathy's mentee for a year. If you don't know that name, Dan Cathy at the time was the president and CEO of the company. However, the best part of my time and experience with this company was really about the investment they made in my growth. I am a visionary leader with a servant heart. I have extensive knowledge and experience in business development, technology, contract negotiations, vendor management, project management, and people management. I was also a small business owner, and I understand the work required to make a business a success. However, after 30 years of living in Atlanta and away from Louisiana, I was ready to return home. I wanted to spend more time with my family and really get involved in a community that nurtured me while I was growing up. So now I've been here for a couple of years, and I've noticed several things that I believe could be improved in my district and in my city. But rather than sitting on the sidelines complaining, I decided it was time to get out of retirement and take those skills that I actually developed and try to help solve some of these problems. You see, I have a vision of a better New Iberia, a city with a strong economy where most citizens can make a living wage and afford to own their own home if they desire it. A New Iberia that does not have so many boarded up homes and businesses. A city where roads are smooth and we don't have a lot of flooding. A community where citizens can thrive and our children can learn and live in a safe environment. I have a vision of a New Iberia that is moving forward in the right direction. So I ask this council and the people of New Iberia to consider me to be your next city council representative in District 5 come November 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Is Ms. Khadija Rashad here? Khadija? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the next line of business, which is number 2. Comments from the general public on agenda items. Persons being considered for appointments to parish boards and commission to address the council. If you're applying for board of commission, please come up to the podium and introduce yourself and what you're applying for.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Farr-Duet. I am applying to serve on the board of the Children and Youth Planning. I own 2 businesses in New Iberia, Jen's Trends and Clinical Med for the last 15 years. And I'm super excited that I get to help our community and be involved because I like New Iberia and I'd like to see it grow and people stay here and help the kids and everything. So thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you, Jennifer. Next.
Good evening. My name is Merlin Bodan. I'm applying for the Veterans Memorial Building on the chair as on the Board of Control. I have been on the Board of Control in the past. I was chairman. Presently, the board asked me to stay on as sort of like a consultant. So I'm there if they need and through the meetings. I believe in the building very much, and I will. And the reason I'm here is Mr. Raywood Segura, who is presently on the board, could not reapply because he's at home under hospice care. He has pancreatic cancer, and it's hit him bad. It's kind of hard because he's the person in front of mine. But like I said, I'm in the American Legion. I'm on my 31st year as commander. I'm in the VFW, the Vietnam Veterans, and the Navy Seabees. So I believe in what the building is, because the building is not for us that are alive. It's a memorial, so therefore it pays tribute to those that have died or dying, and those of us that will die. So I believe in the building, and I'd like to be back on the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Constance Longlinay. I go by Connie. I am applying for the Vermilion Iberia Twin Parish Port Commission. I am a member of the Delcombe community. I'm a retired teacher from Delcombe Elementary, grew up in Delcombe, went to school in Delcombe. I'm active in my community. I am a member of the Delcombe Shrimp Festival. I also serve on the Shrimp Festival board. I'm involved with the church. I have been a money counter for over 25 years. I would like to see our communities grow. I believe in economic development. I want to see us prosper, and thank you for allowing me to try out this position. I'll do whatever it takes to try and make it better for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Longlinay. Next. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Homer Stelly. I'm from the town of Delcombe. I'm applying for the railroad committee, and I'm the street commissioner in the town of Delcombe. I got like 42 years in the military. I retired in 2015, and I'm applying for the position. So, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Michael Lamprez. I'm reapplying for a second term, actually for a full term for the Iberia Parish Airport Authority. I've been a licensed pilot since 1992. I hold a Bachelor of Science degree in aviation as well as a bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Louisiana Monroe. A lot of good things going on at the airport. We finally have a really good director who's sitting right back here, and I'd ask for your consideration for reappointment. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Hi, good evening. My name is Rory Romero. I'm applying for a seat on the board of Iberia Medical Center. Former parish councilman, been a lifelong resident of Iberia Parish. I live in the big city of Koto now. Graduate from NISH, 1973. I look forward to serving. The hospital has always been something I've advocated, and I would like to see it continue to grow and see where we can bring this. Thank you.
Thank you, Rory. Is there anyone else applying for boards and commissions? I'd like to address the council.
Move to go in regular session.
Okay, I have a move by Warren. I need a second. A second by Tommy. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Any nays? Ayes have it. Continuing on with the meeting, reports, finance, and administrative actions. Number one, balance sheet for July 2020 on request. Number two, budget report for July 2020 on requests. Reports, parish, and other governmental agencies. Number one, monthly reports, billing reports dated August of 2020 was in your package. Public work report, there is none. Special business, there is none. Council member announcement. Warren?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to give a shout out to one of our fellow board members, Scott, and his people from Laurelville, who did a fabulous job of going to Lake Charles and helping that devastated area. And again, not just Laurelville, but all of Iberia Parish who participated to help our fellow neighbors in need. So, Scott, I appreciate it, man. I mean, to see our community come together like that, that's what makes us so unique. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Warren. Michael?
We're holding a drive. We are going to Lake Charles this week, and the Knights of St. Peter Claver, Council 63, along with the State Council, is going. We're going to try to bring all supplies. So we need anything you got, perishable items, diapers, cleaning supplies, clothes, food, water. We will be leaving out Saturday morning. Anybody want to donate anything, they could get in touch with me or drop stuff to St. Edward's Catholic Church. the St. Peter's Claver Lodge, 63 on field. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Scott?
Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate, it's the Laurelville Community Project, the Russell U.S. Foundation, the clerk of court came with us, David Ditch, myself. We had 20 people show up at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. We had 10 tables roughly of supplies. The diapers were a big need, mosquito repellent. We had people from all over coming there. We stayed out of the destruction, but we still had refugees. We had people living in their cars. So it is a big need. I'm gonna get in touch with you. I'm gonna come back with you.
Okay.
But we are going back next Friday. We're gonna turn around. We're gonna try and outdo ourselves. The goal is to feed 1,200 people next Friday instead of the 550 we did this time. And we're gonna step up our game. We have monetary resources coming in. I have people reaching out to me from Texas and Mississippi. So they saw it on Facebook and other social media. So, but yeah, thanks to everybody that came along with me. Well,
Okay, great, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Lady Brown?
Yeah, I would like to acknowledge Clausen Well Testing, Birch Oilfield Service, Branch Oilfield Service, and Derek Williams for delivering a semi-truck of donations from West Texas to Lake Charles. On Sunday, August 30th, they had a semi-truck come from West Texas with diapers, formula, PPE equipment, pallets, I mean, pretty much everything that they could get to the people in Southwest Louisiana to help them with the recovery efforts. So they did a semi-truck of goods delivered to Lake Charles and also to the Welsh Fire Department. So I would like to acknowledge them for for reaching out to us in Louisiana and helping those in Southwest Louisiana and the Lake Charles area that were devastated by Hurricane Laura.
Thank you, Lady Brown. Any other council members? I also would like to acknowledge the fact of the destruction in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and in DeRidder, all the above parishes going up north toward Monroe. I did have an opportunity to visit that area. I have a sister that lives there, and I spent the weekend helping her doing some cleaning up around her property. It's a mess. It really is. We were blessed in Iberia Parish for not seeing that kind of destruction here. I also like to thank St. Nicholas Church for the supplies they gathered together and also brought to Lake Charles and DeRidder area to help those that need those supplies over there for the cleanup. Thank you. Well, moving on to Iberia Parish President announcement. Larry, you have
Yo,
the
how you
floor.
doing, Eugene?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. First, I want to start off by thanking Dexter Migas and Public Works. We got a request from Calcasieu Parish on Friday. They were out of signage. They had about, I think they said 9,000 stop signs throughout the whole parish area that was destroyed. And so they were trying to get signs from every different parish throughout, South Louisiana, throughout Louisiana, really. And Dexter's crew put together 174 stop signs Friday evening and had those signs delivered to Calcasieu Parish on Saturday morning at 7 o'clock. So I want to tell you, Dexter, thank you so much for you and your crew and for everything you do. I also want to thank all of the parish council members who helped out during the storm. I appreciate everything all of you guys did, everything from trying to get sandbags and bring out in your district, talking to constituents and finding out, things that needed to be done and passing those things on to me. I truly appreciate that 100. For the last 2 weeks in Public Works, they did some culvert cleaning in District 8, 9, and 10, culvert inspection in District 10 and 11, debris pickup in various districts. We had some downed trees in District 3, 8, 9, 10, 13, and 14. We had some field drainage work we had to do in District 8 and District 11, roadside drainage work in District 5, 9, 10, 13, and 14. We did some road grading work in various districts, road crossing work in District 10 and 13. We did road patching in District 7, 9, 10, 13, and 14. Field ditches, side booming work in District 9, shoulder work in District 8, 13, and 14. We had some tree trimming to do in District 13. As far as Hurricane Laura debris pickup, Waste Connection is picking up yard debris, which started on Tuesday, yesterday. We plan for that to be completed in about 2 weeks. I'm asking everyone that have hurricane debris not to put the debris on the power lines. If your debris is put underneath the power line, it's become a safety hazard when we're trying to pick the debris up, or when Waste Connection is trying to pick the debris up. In some cases, you may find out that if you put your debris under the power line, it's not going to be picked up until you actually move that debris and put it in a place where it actually could be safe for the operator and the equipment. Please don't put your debris on the roadside ditches. I've noticed that some people are putting debris in the roadside ditches itself, and that creates a major problem, especially if we have a rain. It messes up the flow of water and block up the culverts. The debris should be placed on the curbside, but not blocking the driveway. Today, I had a meeting, a post-hurricane meeting with Sarah Tommy Romero, Buddy Fleming, Scott Saunier, and Prescott Marshall. And y'all know that every time we have any type of exercise where we look at our H-120, we try to find out where our gaps are and try to make our exercise a little bit better for the next time. Today we discussed everything from pre-storm evacuations to getting more employees involved to help us provide services such as call takers and things of that nature. Budget process. The budget process, we're in that budget process right now. Currently, we having shortfalls in several areas. My staff and I are working very close with the directors to address areas of concerns. We're also working very close with the council chairman, the finance chairman, and many other members of the Iberia Parish Council. So we have that taken care of and ready to present to you like we normally do. Iberia Parish Courthouse roof replacement, we have a sealed bid that's going to be received on October the 13th. We're going to receive bids for the Iberia Parish Courthouse roof replacement. We have a mandatory pre-bid conference that's scheduled for Tuesday, October the 1st at 11 o'clock on the 4th floor of the council chamber. So we expect to have several people participate in that particular project. FEMA mitigation grant. One of the things that my administration has focused on is how we can help protect our citizens, our families, and our way of life here in Iberia Parish. As you know, Iberia Parish, we're very susceptible to flooding. One of the ways we try to help and protect our citizens each year is by educating them and making them aware of applications and how to apply annually for grant funding from FEMA to elevate the properties and keep homeowners out of harm's way. This year, application period for the grant process is coming up. We're going to be holding an informational meeting at the Slyman Theater here in New Iberia on September the 28th and the 29th at 6 o'clock. I want all interested citizens to please try to plan to attend. Shortly, I'm going to get Gary O'Neill to come up and do a presentation on disaster assistance application process. Again, the applications is going to be taken on September the 28th and the 29th at the Slyman Theater. By chance, is Gary O'Neill over there, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, he is.
Okay, if you don't mind at this time, sir, or else you guys have some questions, I would like to get Gary up and do a presentation for you guys right quick, like to make everyone aware of what we're trying to do here. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Warren has a question, Larry.
Larry, as far as storm debris
Yes, sir.
pickup, what's the contractual going to
Talk
cost
a little
for this
louder.
with
I
Waste
can't hear you.
Speak in
Connection?
your mic, please.
Larry, as far as storm debris pickup, what is the contractual going to cost us additionally with Waste Connections?
What we're trying to get everything picked up for $26,000, around $26,000, Warren. That's actually on your agenda for tonight.
Okay, so let me ask you this. We're not going to apply through FEMA to maybe try to get some of that reimbursements, or we're going to just burn it?
No, sir. If we would have initiated the contract, this is very similar to what we did with Barry. If we would have initiated the contract for the federal contract, we would have probably been out a couple of $100,000 just getting started because of the process that they use to, to initiate it. You have to have your monitors and all of this other good stuff. So what we're doing, I got with the department, with DEQ, and we have a burn site, and the burn site, we already got the permit. In fact, we started picking up debris on yesterday. And we're going to burn all of our debris. We hope to have this done in about 2 weeks. And And no, we won't even spend the amount of money we would have had to pay on our 25%.
Okay, so you're using the money from the general fund, the disaster relief fund, or are you using that from the solid waste?
This should be coming from the solid waste fund.
Okay. All right.
In fact, Warren, it's on your agenda. You probably had
I
that.
just want to make sure for the record.
Probably got
I'm
that
gonna talk
Friday,
more about it. It's
Saturday.
under consent agenda. So, okay.
It's on
Thank
the
you.
solid waste fund. It's not on the consent agenda. It's summary number
We have
126.
Is it 126?
Okay, 126, solid waste sales tax.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, buddy.
Any other questions for Larry? Okay, right now we have Gary. Give us a presentation.
How are y'all doing? As President Richard said, my name's Gary O'Neill. I work for Quality Engineering. In another life, I worked for the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. I worked, Iberia Parish is one of my parishes when I worked as a civil servant. Lucky enough, how's that do? Mr. Olivier? All right, sorry about that. I work in the private sector now, and we're contracted to do all of your grant writing for FEMA grants and grant management for the projects those grants fund. Last year, we applied for funding under Flood Mitigation Assistance, which is a FEMA grant program. It was funded with $160 million. It's a nationally competitive grant program to help people that are susceptible to floods, to elevate their home up out of a flood zone, which I had our GIS guys print out a map. The parish currently has 363 properties, I believe, that FEMA considers either repetitive loss or severe repetitive loss properties, which means they just continually file flood insurance claims over and over again. They're just extremely susceptible. You guys know what your risk is down here. It's like everybody south of I-10. This grant program is administered through FEMA to help those folks elevate up 1 foot above whatever their base flood elevation is. We put together some meetings last year. We did some outreach on Facebook, through the mail. We had a packed house at the Slyman Theater last year for a public meeting. We ended up with, I believe, Mr. Larry, I believe it was either 18 or 19 properties. They've been selected for potential approval. We're literally just crossing the T's and dotting the I's, waiting for FEMA to give us an approval on that grant. I know Mr. Shealy helped us on some of that stuff as well. We appreciate that. But that grant, we're looking for it to be approved within the next 30 to 60 days. Sometime in the fourth quarter, you guys will actually start elevating structures in Iberia Parish. This year's grant application period will open on the 30th of this month. As President Richard said, you guys have decided to do 2 meetings this year, one on the 28th, one on the 29th, back to back, just to make sure we have enough room for everybody, especially with social distancing issues and whatnot. So they can show up at that meeting. I'll actually give the presentation. We'll walk them through the specifics of the grant, but basically it's going to elevate structures up out of a flood zone. You guys in your districts know that, you know, almost everybody has at least several dozen properties that are on this FEMA list. But we feel just as confident as we did last year that we will have just as much interest in this grant program as there was last year to submit to FEMA and to get approved again. So any questions you guys might have specifically, or anything, President Richard, that I'm not covering that you would like for me to kind of touch on in front of the council, I'd be more than happy to answer y'all's questions.
Larry, advertising to the general public to make them aware of this meeting. What are we doing to get the information to the public?
We actually, Gary, you can actually go on and talk a little bit on that, but we're actually going to do it. Gary, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. So to speak to
we're actually going to, go ahead, Gary, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry about that. This is just, Councilman Olivier, what we plan to do is, actually, before I came here today, our offices are in Denham Springs, Louisiana. I stuffed about 363 envelopes full of letters that President Richard basically signed. So the list of these repetitive loss and severe repetitive loss properties is something that the parish has access to. They provide it to us, we create a mail merge, and we send out outreach to the public through the Postal Service. I believe last year y'all did some brief Facebook messaging or Facebook advertisements through the parish. And then President Richard, I believe, has a intermittent radio appearance or whatnot. I think he talked about it as well. So we'll do those types of outreach. And then, you know, if anybody calls y'all from y'all's district and asks about it, obviously you can just forward them to us. Our contact information is in those letters, but we'll also provide it to you. That's what we do all day, every day, is do grant management work for you guys.
And Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
We will also do a media. I'm going to contact the regular media that we deal with, radio, television, and make them aware of what we're doing in Iberia Parish and when we're doing it.
Okay, thank you, Larry. Any questions for Larry on this subject?
You're very welcome.
Well, Chad?
Yeah, the people that participated last year, do they go through the process again?
Absolutely not. They're already in a grant that's basically been selected by FEMA for funding. We've just got to, what happens is the application period opens in September. The deadline for the state to apply, because we'll apply through GOSEP, the old agency that I used to work for. GOSEP will submit all those applications. I think the deadline is January 31st of next year. FEMA headquarters reviews all these applications nationwide. They put them through and you'll be applying with, against St. Mary Parish, against the town of Walker, and the town of Des Moines, Iowa. I mean, it's truly a nationwide, nationally competitive program. They'll make decisions, FEMA headquarters will make decisions sometime between May and June of next year, and then they'll communicate to the entities that were selected for funding, hey, you've got a couple of properties here that, you know, their flood insurance expired. Can you show that they currently are insured by flood insurance, or cross this T, dot this I? Some documents need to be signed here or there. But other than that, usually we'll get approvals in the fourth quarter of the year after that, and we can start elevating. Last year's grant was submitted by GOSEP in January. We found out y'all were one of the ones that was selected for further review May or June. We responded in July, and we're expecting something back, like I said, the beginning of the fourth quarter, so that there's an outside opportunity for us to be elevating structures in the holiday quarter, the fourth quarter of this year. So that would basically be a similar timeline for next year.
Okay, so these will be basically new applicants.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have another question. I don't know if you can elaborate on or not. Have the zones expanded any? Because I know I had a couple of them that were considered in the X zone that were repetitive flooding, but being they were in the X zone, they were.
So I'm in a public meeting, and you're asking me to give some secret sauce here as a private firm. But there's some tools in our tool belt that we can use to get certain types of those properties eligible. And I hope I don't bore anybody here, but I'm going to dive into the weeds here real quick with you. FEMA has come up with something called a base level engineering viewer, and it's being demoed in Region 6, which includes Louisiana. There's more detailed information in this base level engineering viewer than there are in a lot of flood insurance studies and a lot of the current flood insurance maps that FEMA relies on. So using that BLE data is what we call it. That BLE data may sometimes say that X zone properties are actually in an area that's what we would consider a flood zone. But again, I'm kind of sharing some trade secrets here. Hopefully no other consultants are watching this public meeting on YouTube. But we can actually use that BLE data as a printout and submit it as supporting documentation, so that even though those folks show up as an X zone, as in a 500-year flood, they're on that repetitive loss list like a bunch of other properties, because it's outdated mapping information with it. So we submit that with it, and we'll actually get them qualified for a better cost share. Typically your constituents, if they're on this list, if they're one of those stars there, they're going to pay no more than 10% out of pocket for the total cost of their elevation. So let's just use $100,000 as a round number. You're looking at them maybe paying 10 cents on the dollar, which is $10,000. They will never find a better opportunity. I sound like a car salesman when I say that. They'll never find a better opportunity or deal, so to speak, to get that house out of harm's way than participating in a grant like this. So if any of your folks are on the fence, please encourage them to just throw it against the wall and let's see what sticks.
So the BLE data is going to be submitted for this year, and that'll go back to the ones that had previously applied, or do they?
No, the ones that previously applied that are in that grant from last year are already basically approved and okay to move forward. If folks didn't get into last year's grant, they're welcome to reapply again. Obviously, we knew there was an appetite. There were several folks. I talked to somebody yesterday that wants to apply that missed the deadline from last year. But your OEP office, Press Marshall and Norma Hebert, will direct them to us to get more information. So I've got a list of people that didn't make it last year that already want in for this year. But the folks that applied last year that are in the grant, they will not have to go through the process again.
I just was curious about it because I know I got two of them specifically, 3 times flooded, and they were in the X zone. So it was like they got pretty discouraged when that information came about.
I want your information. I want to talk to those people, and I won't fib. I'll be out of the office Thursday and Friday on a little vacation, but I will be in here Monday looking at that. I work in the private sector, man. I can take time. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Very good questions, Chad. Very good, Chad.
Any other comments, Larry?
I'm done. That's it for me. Thank you, sir.
Good. That's it. Thank you, Gary.
Thank y'all. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Gary. You want to mention the chart up there, Gary?
Yeah,
the board?
actually, if y'all like, and I'm sorry, I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I'll actually pass it around if you want, and I'll make sure Miss Cynthia, I had a slide deck tonight that I sent to Miss Cynthia, didn't get put up, but this map is actually in the slide deck, and it's a PDF. But each of these stars, and I'll show it to the public as well, each of these stars on this map in Iberia Parish represents a property in Iberia Parish that FEMA and the National Flood Insurance Program refer to or have confirmed is either repetitive loss or severe repetitive loss. There's two different categories. If you're a repetitive loss property, you've got a 10% cost share. But if you're severe repetitive loss, the worst of the worst, you will not experience a cost share. There is $0 that the homeowner of an SRL property has to put up to elevate their home. The entire cost of elevating their home out of harm's way from flooding is borne by FEMA and the grant. Something that might be pleasant for y'all to hear is we also don't charge. The grant management fees are all borne through the grant as well, so there's no cost from you guys for quality engineering to do this work either. So it's kind of a win-win for the parish and for the homeowners. So, but yeah, if anybody wants to come up and look, I mean, you can basically see where all these stars are on Highway 14. There's just clusters everywhere. You know where your hot spots are. But I had our GIS folks create a legend basically of the parish map with all these structures highlighted on it in stars. So anybody wants to take a look at it while y'all are here.
Yeah, just put it back on the easel.
Okay.
Again, thank you, Gary.
Thank you all. I appreciate y'all's time.
So we'll go ahead and move on to the meeting. We can go right into the consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption to be voted on at tonight's meeting. Minutes, regular meeting, August the 12th, 2020. Summary number 112, introduced by Eugene A. Oliva Sr., District 10, a resolution of condolence to the family of Elmer Joe Louvier Landry, former District 9 council member who passed away on August the 2nd, 2020. Summary number 113, introduced by the parish president, a resolution amending the 2020 general fund budget in the total amount of $55,000 to provide for network technology improvements in lawn maintenance equipment, and to amend the 2020 public building maintenance fund budget in the total amount of $10,700 to provide for lawn maintenance equipment, all to be fully reimbursed with state funding under the LGAP award. I want to stop a moment to recognize that Natalie Broussard is attending the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Moving on to summary number 114, introduced by the parish president, a resolution amending the 2020 drug court fund budget in the amount of $252,350 to recognize partial year federal state grant funding and appropriate the operational expenditures per the grant award for the remaining of the fiscal year. All expenditures to be covered by the grant award. Summary number 115, introduced by Lloyd Brown, District 4, a resolution of condolence to the family of Miss Andre W. Lewis, mother of Iberia Parish School Board member, Mr. Raymond Shadu Lewis, who passed away on August the 19th, 2020. Summary number 116, introduced by Mosquito Abatement District, a resolution declaring certain vehicles, equipment, and other district properties as surplus properties and further authorize disposal of same in accordance with parish policies and state law as requested by the Iberia Parish Mosquito Abatement District. Summary number 117, introduced by the parish president, a resolution to authorize Iberia Parish president to make any and all federal, state, and local disaster assistance applications on behalf of Iberia Parish government or and of its agencies, boards, and commissions related to emergency management, disaster response, damage mitigation and/or coastal preservation and protection, to provide for the effective date thereof, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. Summary number 118, introduced by Eugene A. Olivier Sr., District 10, that resolution of condolence to the family of Mr. Laura Stelly, sister of Parish President Mr. M. Larry Richard, who passed away on August the 31st, 2020. Would anyone like to remove any consent agenda items? If not, I need a motion to accept. Motion by Lloyd, need a second. Second by Marty. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, so be motion accepted. Moving on to ordinance introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 5059, introduced by Eugene A. Olivier Sr., District 10. An ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the Compliance Ordinance of Iberia Parish, Louisiana, to amend the reenact Section 2-2.1 to provide for additional routine administrative matters that may be placed directly on regular and special council meeting agendas without the necessity of obtaining a recommendation from the appropriate committee, to include the following items. 16, expressing appreciation and congratulation. 17, canvassing election results and declaring results. 18, changing the Iberia Parish Committee and Council meeting schedule. 19, certifying of meeting prerequisites of federal off-road, off-system bridge programs. 20, acknowledging the receipt of audit reports from Iberia Parish. 21, acknowledging receipts of audit of Iberia Parish, Iberia Hospital Service District Number 1. 22, authorizing the execution of the System Survey Compliance Questionnaire for the financial audit. 23, ordering and calling a public hearing for the proposed consolidation budget statement. 24, accepting the property validations of real and personal property as established by the Iberia Parish Assessor as items that may bypass the committee process, to provide for the effective date thereof, and to otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
So moved.
Moved by Warren. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Michael. Any
Mr.
comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend it to include two more. I'd like to include an ordinance authorizing a variance which received a favorable vote by the Iberia Parish Planning Commission, which you'll see tonight. I'd like to include that, so if it moves out of planning and zoning favorably, it can go on to full council instead of going into the committee meetings. Into a resolution authorizing the following of an application with the LA DOTD for a grant under any of the following FTA programs managed through DOTD, small capital and operating.
Okay, is that good with the second, Michael?
That's good.
Any comments on the substitution? If not, motion's already been moved.
Yeah, presented the
Michael,
motion.
second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, so be motion carries. Summary number 5060, introduced by legal. An ordinance to amend and reenact Section 2-41 of the Code of Ordinance of Iberia Parish, Louisiana, related to appointments to the boards and commissions, to limit the number of consecutive terms which a person may serve on parish boards and commission, to provide for the effective date thereof, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. Moved by Natalie. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Scott. All in favor?
What is the thing?
3 consecutive.
3 consecutive terms.
3 4-year terms?
Right. Except there's
Well,
some boards
hold
that
on.
doesn't have
Some
5
boards,
years.
Yeah.
It just says three terms, and actually this, it was conflicting between the charter and some of you in your ordinance. So this simply follows the charter that was adopted by the people. It makes the two of them consistent. We ran into that trouble a while back on an appointment. There was a question about it, and so I just drafted that to make it consistent with the charter.
3 4-year terms.
Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carried. Resolution introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 104, introduced by the clerk of the council. A resolution appointing Mr. Raybert Segura to the New Iberia Veteran Memorial Board for the remaining of a 5-year term to be filled, a vacancy created by the expiration of term by Mr. Raybert Segura, whose term expired June the 2nd, 2020. Note, table from the August 12, 2020 Iberia Parish Council meeting. Mr. Segura has requested that his name be removed effective August the 14th, 2020. I need a motion to delete.
Second.
Motion by Paul. Comment?
Yeah, we're gonna go back and open up
We're going to
the
open up the
process again.
advertisement,
Okay.
again, the process to
I'm good with that.
re-advertise for that position. Who seconded?
I second.
Michael Nancy.
Michael? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, so be. Summary number 119, introduced by the clerk of the council. A resolution appointing Ms. Jennifer Pratt, Duet as a member of the 16th District Children and Youth Planning Board, representing business and labor for the remaining of a 2-year term to fill the vacancy created by the expiration term of Mr. Bennett Menard, whose term expired December 31st, 2020. Need a motion?
Move.
Moved by Natalie, second by Marty. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Summary number 120, introduced by the clerk of the council. A resolution appointing Mr. Rory D. Romero to the New Iberia Parish Hospital District Number 1 Board for the remaining of a 4-year term to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Dr. David Benson, whose term expired December 26, 2020. Moved by Marty, second by Brian. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it, so be. Summary number 121, introduced by the clerk of the council. A resolution appointing Mr. Homer Stelly to the Vermilion and Iberia Railroad Development District Board, representing Iberia Parish for an initial term to be determined by lot at the first meeting of the board. Need a motion and a second? Moved by Marty. Second by James Trahan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carried. Summary number 123, introduced by the parish president. A resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for a grant under any of the following FTA programs managed through Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. SMILE operation. Moved by Lloyd.
Second.
Second by Mike. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Summary number 124, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 HUD voucher fund budget in the amount of $950. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed one. Did I?
That's 123.
Okay, go back to 123. Summary number 123, introduced by the parish president. A resolution authorizing the filing of...
22.
You did
Yeah,
123.
you did the
Skip
operating.
You need to go 22? Okay. Summary number 122, introduced by the parish president. A resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for a grant under the following FTA program managed through Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development, SMILE Capital. Moved by Michael, second by Lloyd. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Give me a minute to correct my mistake here. Now we on summary 124, right? Okay, summary number 124, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 HUD voucher fund budget in the amount of $950 to recognize CARES Act administration funding for public housing and to amend the 2020 general fund budget to accept said transfer of funding from the HUD voucher fund budget and to provide for eligible department expenses. Moved by Lloyd, second by Morty. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 125, introduced by Regional Planning Commission. A resolution granting preliminary plat approval to the subdivision of 7.48 acres of property into 2 lots for residential use on Belmont Road for Jeffrey A. Gula, subject to compliance with Condition 1 and Plat Revision 1 through 4, located in District 8, all as reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission. Motion by James. Second by Morty. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Summary number 126, introduced by the parish president. A resolution amending the 2020 solid waste sales tax budget in the amount of $26,000 to appropriate funding for the cleanup of storm debris as a result of Hurricane Laura, all to be funded from the fund balance previous years. Note, due to the need to begin a cleanup in a timely manner, we will need to suspend the rules as this item was not considered by the Public and Safety Committee. So I need a motion first to suspend the rules. Moved by Michael. Second by Morty to suspend the rules. Any comments?
Suspend the rules.
Did I do that right?
Yeah, you vote to suspend the rules first.
Okay. Okay, roll call. All in favor, signify. Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Suspend the rule.
The main motion.
And now we got to vote on the main motion. Did anybody move on the main motion? Oh,
I'd like to ask that y'all consider amending that resolution to also authorize the parish president to execute a special addendum to the agreement for the collection and disposal of residential solid waste materials by and between Iberia Parish Government and Waste Connections Bayou Inc. It's the same one that we did after Barry. They're actually going to give 2 additional trucks to be used during this period of time. The amount is $26,000. I've prepared it in connection with Waste Connections, and so Larry will need to be able to sign that also. And I know that was long, so I actually wrote it down, so.
Okay, you're gonna give it to Brenda?
So Brenda will
Yeah, I
have
was
the
gonna actually do
necessary
that.
information.
I need a motion in a second.
You got it already.
With the substitution? Okay. Motion by Marty, second by, who was it?
Michael Landry.
Michael Landry and Marty. All in favor of the resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, moved by Warren to adjourn, and second by Michael. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We'll take a 5-minute